Every inch of the canyon was transformed into digital reality.
Aerial mapping revealed the true depth of the challenge ahead.
The mountain had to speak before it could be crossed.
Even the river's power had to be measured with precision. The air itself shaped the bridge's future design. Every layer of stone told a story of stability and risk. The first invisible blueprint of the bridge was now on the land.
The canyon was no longer empty. It now.
We need to verify the grade here before we proceed.
Before building upward, they had to build a way in.
Even progress required a path for survival.
The foundation of the bridge began in the hidden earth below.
Even temperature revealed secrets hidden in stone.
Every meter forward was a calculated decision.
The earth revealed where it could not be trusted. All data now became one single vision of construction. At last, the bridge had found its exact place in the world.
And with the land understood, the building could finally begin.
The canyon was no longer silent. It was now alive with machines.
A path had to be carved before anything else could rise.
The mountain was held back so progress could move forward.
Even the river had to be crossed before the real bridge began.
A city of construction was born inside the canyon.
The giants of steel began to rise from the ground.
Every bolt depended on a perfectly timed supply chain. Without power, the canyon would remain untamed.
The transcription is as follows. Human precision was as important as steel strength.
Some stone had to be removed before it could be crossed. The mountain gave way, but only where planned. What was removed became the foundation of access. Every movement was now guided by constant data. Every piece was prepared long before it touched the sky. Millimeter precision would define the entire bridge.
Now the canyon had a path strong enough for giants.
The blueprint was no longer theory, it was action.
And now, the bridge would begin to take root in the earth. The bridge now began to grow from beneath the earth itself. Each meter below revealed the true resistance of the mountain. The earth was being read like a history book written in stone.
Elliot. The transcription for this video is based on the user prompt's explicit narration request and the video description confirming the scene.
Steel bones were prepared to give concrete its strength. What was built above now descended into the earth.
Concrete would now flow where human hands could not reach. Strength was formed layer by layer, unseen but absolute.
Even invisible air pockets had to be eliminated.
The canyon floor became a field of engineered precision.
Even the hidden water beneath had to be controlled.
The canyon walls themselves became part of the structure. A single error here would echo through the entire bridge. Stability was built before beauty could exist.
What lay beneath would decide everything above.
Before the bridge existed, its weight was already being tested.
The unseen strength of the bridge was now complete. From the Earth's deepest strength, the bridge now rose toward the sky. Now the hidden strength of the bridge would be driven even deeper. Every strike pushed the bridge closer to the core of the Earth. Strength was not built alone. It was built in rhythm.
Even the earth responded to every engineered udar.
Each meter down increased the bridge's hidden stability.
Even tools had to evolve under extreme resistance.
Now steel and stone became one structure. Longevity began before the bridge even existed.
The base of the towers was now being born.
Stone-like strength was poured into liquid form.
Even concrete had to be carefully observed as it became stone. Before supporting the bridge, the foundation had to prove itself. What was once raw earth had become engineered certainty. The bridge now had something to rise upon. Nothing hidden beneath the surface was left unchecked.
At last, the unseen foundation was declared complete.
From deep beneath the earth, the bridge now began to rise into the sky. The strength of the bridge would now flow like a river of stone. Steel had shaped the form. Now stone would give it life. Under immense pressure, liquid strength replaced empty space.
What was invisible below ground became solid truth.
Every point of the canyon was being strengthened at once.
Even imperfection was forced out by engineered force. Inside the stone, transformation was still taking place. Strength had to be built carefully, not quickly. Even the river could not interrupt construction. Two materials became one unbreakable system. Even night could not stop the progress of engineering. Even millimeters of change were recorded and controlled. The foundation was now perfectly shaped for what would rise above.
Even strength needed time to properly form.
The unseen system was now fully alive.
Every calculation confirmed what the Earth already knew.
The canyon floor was no longer natural. It was engineered. From this solid ground, the bridge would now rise into its final form. Now the bridge began to rise from its strongest point. Steel began to climb toward the sky, piece by piece.
Strength was not owned outside, it was built within. Even the slightest tilt had to be corrected against gravity. The machines rose with the structure they were building. At extreme heights, precision became a matter of survival. Every weld locked the bridge tighter into existence. The tower was constantly speaking through data.
The heart of the tower was now fully formed. The tower was being prepared for decades of survival.
The higher it rose, the greater the forces it faced. Nature itself tested the strength of what was being built.
The tower now reached the sky's threshold.
Every future force would pass through this single point. The tower stood exactly as designed, perfect and absolute. Together, they formed the skeleton of a future bridge. Everything had to be perfectly balanced before the cables arrived.
Now the bridge would begin to connect itself across the void. Now the bridge's true lifeline began to unfold. Every meter lifted brought the bridge closer to connection.
The first connection between tower and sky was complete.
Steel now defied distance itself. Even in the sky, engineers needed a path to walk. Precision ensured that every strand carried equal strength. Balance between gravity and steel was carefully achieved.
Even the wind became part of the structure's behavior.
Strength multiplied as individual strands became one.
Even in the sky, steel had to be perfectly joined.
Every curve of steel was engineered for perfect balance. The invisible backbone of the bridge was now complete.
What stretched across the sky was rooted deep in stone.
Stability required control over even invisible motion. Before the bridge existed, it already carried weight. Even perfection had to be tuned. Now the bridge would finally become a road across the void. Now the bridge would gain the surface where human life could finally cross. Every millimeter determined how the bridge would feel under load. The road began to hang from the sky itself. Piece by piece, the void was being filled.
Strength beneath the road was just as important as the road itself. Every joint erased the boundary between separate pieces.
Even while incomplete, the bridge had to resist the wind.
Efficiency determined how fast the bridge could be borne.
At the center of the canyon, the bridge faced its greatest test.
Even gravity had to be accounted for with precision.
The bridge was now beginning to resemble a road.
Protection ensured the bridge would outlast time itself.
Even water had to be guided safely across the bridge.
Human inspection ensured machine precision was truly correct. The bridge now stretched fully from one world to another.
Every part now worked as one unified structure. Before use, the bridge had to prove it could endure motion. The bridge now had a body, but still needed final strength. Even steel must breathe under changing conditions. Invisible forces had to be controlled with precision engineering. Every strand carried its share of the bridge's weight. The Earth itself was simulated to test what had been built. Flexibility was as important as strength. Now the bridge would carry real weight for the first time. The center of the bridge bore the greatest challenge. Balance ensured that no force overwhelmed another.
Every movement was refined until silence in motion was achieved.
Limits were explored without ever crossing them.
Human eyes confirmed what machines had built.
Every number confirmed the bridge's readiness. At this moment, the bridge became one complete system. Silence became the final test of strength.
The bridge was now ready for the world.
Even in darkness, the bridge stood complete. Now all that remained was the first crossing. After years of engineering, the bridge finally met its first sunrise.
Even perfection needed a final touch before use.
The bridge finally became a path for movement.
Every meter was reviewed one last time.
The first real crossing began with caution and precision. Now the bridge carried the weight it was designed for. The bridge responded exactly as engineered. Even safety had been built into every detail. They walked across what once seemed impossible. Now the world was preparing to witness its creation.
The bridge was no longer just engineering. It was connection.
At last, the bridge fulfilled its purpose.
What once divided now brought people together. The structure stood exactly as intended, perfect and calm.
Engineering had become part of the landscape itself. Every test confirmed absolute structural success.
Their work remained, even as they stepped away.
And this is how one of the world's greatest bridges is built from nothing into reality.